How do conservatives plan to turn the tide? And how did the American corporation flip to just one side?
Glenn Beck called for love for America no matter how one is treated.
Welcome to Wei and Kathy Show, and I'm your host, Wei. Welcome to Wei and Kathy Show. I'm your host, Wei.
And this is Kathy.
All right, hello from CPAC.
Yeah, we add this extra show today.
Yeah, so actually too many things to talk about. We won't be able to finish all, so it's about like 7 or 8 hours, but so many things to internalize and then present it to you. But we're going to pick some key talking points that CPAC presented today for you. And just before the show, actually we got interviewed Miss Xi Van Fleet, right?
Right.
And it was a very good 30-minute interview. Actually, we found out that when she was interviewed by Sean Hannity and the Fox and Friend and the people like that, it's only a few minutes, okay? But we got about 30 minutes of her time and elaborating that why she got there. The school district in the Loudoun County of the Virginia, right? It was quite a good talk, and she became a national star, some sort of, okay? And then also, what did she still see the problem? So stay with this channel because we're gonna present that interview to you a bit later.
Right. So actually tomorrow she's gonna be on the CPAC panel at 11:30 to talk about the fight against CRT. So I think you probably would be interested to listening to what that panel would have to say and how she will present. So it's 11:30. We have a live stream again on Safe Chat and our channel. So stay tuned.
Yeah, okay. So we have 3 topics for you today. The first one is, actually I will reverse order a little bit. The first one has to do with why did American corporation flip to just one side following that, Georgia voting law.
So before that, I wanted to really give a shout out to our viewers who is probably watching right now who actually came to our booth and we had a very good interview. So that's Louis and his daughter from Houston. So it was such a nice surprise. And you can, if you can see the picture here, Louis, his daughter is only 11 years old.
Okay.
And she has been watching our shows for 6 months now.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had a very nice interview. So she did so well. She's such a sweet girl with a kind heart and intelligent mind.
So what's the girl's name?
Sarah.
Okay, Louis and Sarah. Yeah, hi there.
Yeah, we had to miss it because
I was right in the middle of the Glenn Beck's talk. Okay, I simply cannot walk away, and I will explain that later why I couldn't walk away. But I'm very, very sorry I missed you. Hopefully we can meet catch up tomorrow again. And it's great that you come to our booth, and thank you for watching our show.
Yeah, and I will share the interview later with our other audience.
Yeah. Okay. So. Anyway, so after Georgia passed this law, I really, really got puzzled because 1,200 national big corporations chose to oppose the voting law, which turned out to be a very mild, moderated type of law that tried to, just straight out the voting process. You're talking about Coca-Cola and then Delta, those companies, right?
Right, NBA.
Yeah, traditionally, as we all understand, right, Coca-Cola will not say, I only sell to liberal people. I don't want to sell my Coke to conservative. Corporation, they've been always careful, right? They don't want to take sides. They don't want to take a side on a political issue.
They want to earn the money from all kinds of people, right?
Now, 1,200 corporations make that choice. You guys remember, right? We'll talk about that. Many of you are very mad, and you chose not to buy from them anymore. So today, actually, at CPAC, I learned something about what's the reason for that. All right.
So what is it?
So this is a particular guest, right? His name is Justin Doroff, I think. He's with the National Center for Public Policy Research. He said this. Okay, he said after today's talk, when you walk away, remember you vote. Okay, he said it's not the vote of the election. It's the vote of it's called the proxy ballot. So what does that mean? He elaborated like this. In the May 26th of this year, ExxonMobil have a board proxy ballot voting. In that time, at the end of it, like 40% of the board member was voted in, and they represented the liberal climate change organizations. You're talking about the gas company guys, and then
they got a 40%.
They got a 40% of the board member who literally just coming in. They could just bury ExxonMobil, and then this is not first time. Then the last year, the Chevron, the liberal climate change organization raised a proposal, okay, which was voted in 53%, and that very proposal asked Chevron to align with the Paris Climate Change Pact.
Accord.
So again, that Paris Pact could just finish Chevron. Okay, so since then, for the liberal climate change organizations, for their agenda, they have a systematic concrete steps to take over the board member, the board of your American corporation, and then they have their own record. Okay, in 2018, they established a record of convincing or winning over those boards, and then 2019 they broke that 2018 record, and in 2020 they broke the previous record, and on the 2021 they already surpassed last year their score.
Oh, they keep having the headwinds.
And Justin was saying that, hi guys, if we lose 4 major elections, we're gonna be done. He said CPAC is not gonna be twice a year. It's gonna be every weekend, every Sunday, and you do one CPAC in the morning, one CPAC in the afternoon, to counter that because it's super urgent. But while the American boards has been attacked and invaded one by one, he said conservatives were simply not there. In terms of money, he said there's really is evenly distributed. There's no red money is much stronger than blue money, or blue money, or vice versa. It's the same thing. It's just whether you use it. So basically, the liberal really weaponize their money, while the conservative do not. They're just not there. And in terms of how an organization could manipulate or win over a corporation, Kathy, I think you have some example, right?
Yeah, actually, I had some insights about how they work. Usually they use in the name of to improve the diversity of the boardroom. Okay, so they will organize different organizations of different race, so that they would demand in the name of a group of diverse organizations. They will approach these big companies and ask to meet with the board, saying that we would like to talk to you about how to improve your diversity percentage, okay, in the boardroom, the board members, and also the supply diversity. And usually the companies suppliers.
Okay.
Yeah. So usually then the companies would see like, wow, you represent people from all kinds of ethnic background, right? And they would respond to that. So then they would get not only the different board members of different ethnicities that they demand, and also they will usually get fundings.
Get money from them.
Right. So they can, do more.
Yeah. If it's a blackmail is maybe a little overstating, but the essence of the matter is they organize a lot of ethnic groups and go to a board member and saying that you're not fair with us and we're going to find trouble with you.
You're not diversity enough.
There are certain laws requiring some type of diversity.
Well, there's no law.
No law.
No laws.
So what's the base?
It's like, it's on the basis of everybody would agree that we should diversify.
Basically, they just make use of their goodwill.
Right.
And then, okay, if the corporation do not respond, they're going to keep finding trouble with them.
Yeah, then they establish the so-called best practice.
Right.
Then they approach another company.
As we said, no corporation, commercial corporation want trouble. So they want to play peace. They just cave in. They cave in, okay, I can, admit your people coming in as board member, and we're going to give you funding so that you can expand your costs and things like that. One by one, they took over. One by one, they took over.
There's one example I would like to point out. I just remember that actually one of the banks they were approaching is a Chinese bank. So, and at that time, for me, I was a media person. I thought, they were demanding like a corporate responsibilities, social responsibilities. Then I thought, well, it's good, and the Chinese bank, has problems. So actually, I covered their protest in front of the bank. And you know what? At the end, the bank ended up being a sponsor for the big group, with little, different groups. They combine together, become a larger group. And the bank became the sponsor of the events for this big group. So then I realized what happened. They just almost just threatened the bank, so that they will have to talk to them, and then the bank just give the sponsorship, and that they are in peace.
Yeah. So when I say blackmailing, maybe a little overstating, maybe it's not overstating. It's just some mild form of blackmailing, and as this happened, folks, this is how I see that after I hear enough at a CPAC and also talk to Kathy about her experience. Okay. On the other side, on the liberal side, is really organized effort. Okay, it's like an organized army attacking one fortress after another fortress. Okay, and while on the conservative side, they are busy with starting their own business. They are busy entrepreneur. They're busy homeschooling. They don't have time for this. Okay, they never did any organized effort to force the board of American corporation their way, right? Let me use an analogy. In 1776, you got this British army landing on the Boston, right? Army marching in, several thousands of them. What do you got on the other side? Minutemen, okay, militia, farmers and carpenters who just pick up their rifle and try to stop the British marching to the Lexington. All right, so just at the best you got those called Minutemen, right? A better, faster responding militia is still regular army versus a militia. Same thing's happening here. You got this organized, actually they are in the minority. Liberal are not the majority, okay? They're the minority, but they are very well organized, very well trained, and they're very, very persistent. One after another, they just sacked one fortress after another fortress. But the militia was just scattered, was not sure, was confused. Okay, 245 years.
Remember, the political correctness just silenced them.
Yeah. Okay, but conservative definitely has the majority. Their number is much bigger. Just like there are over 2 million colonists in 1776 compared to 4,000 England army in Boston. But still, the English army was able to, dominate in the beginning of the Revolutionary War. So I don't know how you see this. This is what I see clearly, the analogy. All right. So when you drop your vigilance, when you drop your guard, the enemy took you over. I'm not talking about really, Democratic Party. If I, allow me to clarify that, it's those extreme leftists. They really have ulterior motivation, and behind that is literally new named communist who just changed his name and in the hiding. And so this is the first point of view. So I think through the CPAC, many people realize that how they took over the board of American corporation, how those 1,200 corporations just flip over because there's pressure only on the one side. All right, let's move on to the next topic, which has to do with this time.
Okay,
yeah.
Maybe I just actually, at CPAC, some people, maybe if after you hear what Wei has shared, like, we are doomed or something. Actually, I interviewed a young author, which I had an interview with him before, Kenny Xu, okay, from Washington D.C. area. He wrote the book An Inconvenient Minority, remember? And I met him again at a CPAC, and he is now the president of an organization newly formed called Color Us United. So the thing that they are specialized on, organized, is to do the similar thing, but just from another angle. What they are doing is, he gave an example like Salvation Army. Salvation Army, is faith-based.
Yeah.
They've been doing so many good things. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, American, love them.
Right.
Used to love
they
them.
did a lot of philanthropy things,
Yeah.
right? But he told me that actually recently the leadership of Salvation Army were also convinced by those wokeism. Okay, so they are starting to try to be, on the side of the, just as saying, social, try to avoid racism or things like that. So
Right.
what their organization will do is that they will collect petitions from the people, whoever does not agree with that. So they will connect enough signatures, and then they will present to the leadership of Salvation Army, and to try to present to them and convince them why this type of a wokeism is not right for America. It's not what America should go forward towards.
Yeah, as you can see, those militia seems to be forming up. They're gonna form in the ranks and marching forward. And, it's just
so
like
it means
how
people are really wake up and also take actions.
Yeah, take action, join the army, just like how George Washington built up his regulars, right? America started with the militia, then they have their Continental Army, they got their regulars. Does it look alike? What do you think? I really see that they look alike. Okay, so let's continue on to the next topic, which has to do with, actually is a main topic of today. From what I see through various sessions, this is what the conservatives of the CPAC attendees kind of came to and make a clear statement. He said they used to trust the system, okay, and even after the election of the last year, they were confused, but they still trust the system. Now they say no. They realize that how the extreme leftist has been doing, okay, basically taking over a school board, taking over a library board, taking over city council, taking over county supervisors, and of course in the federal and so on and so forth. And they said, okay, we were busy with our small businesses. We were busy as free entrepreneurs. We love what we do. We never thought our country is falling apart. What they said is, no. We woke up. Okay, we cannot expect other people to participate in the election. We're gonna run for the office, starting with the library board, then the school district board, then the city and the county and so on. So they want to bring the battle really to the local level, at the grassroots level, win the local level first, because they do realize the other side has been doing exactly that for several decades. So now I think now those conservatives, they are very passionate, right? But they're busy with their life.
Yeah, that's
okay?
it. When
Nobody
I talk
paid them to be activists.
Right.
But now they found they cannot afford not to be active. So that's the determination. I clearly heard today.
Okay, yeah. So actually, I interviewed some guests who can testify what Alan just shared. Shared is one of the guests is actually his name is Anthony Boucher. He's from Wyoming. He's the state senator, and he's running against Congresswoman Liz Cheney.
Liz Cheney. Oh,
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
Right, and Anthony, he said he was grassroots because why he ran for state senate is because that nobody ran against the state senate previously, and he felt that just like something's went wrong, and then he was a gun, like Second Amendment advocate. Okay, so gun rights.
Okay.
Then he said, I just had to jump in and run by myself, and he won. So this time he is in the second term right now, but he decided to run for this congressional seat, and he just said, it's just it's his grassroots, but he's doing well. He's pulling ahead. So it really shows that more and more Americans are waking up to the fact that they have to get involved. They cannot just live a normal life and just care about their own business and own kids, homeschooling. You're homeschooling, but how about the public school? And actually, talking about the public school, I also interviewed a public school teacher from Louisiana, young man, very energetic, Jonathan Copel. And he's a language teacher. He teaches Spanish, and he said teaching CRT actually doesn't really affect him on the surface, right? He's teaching language, but he cannot just keep silent. Actually, he really spoke out against why he believes that school cannot use CRT to teach the kids. So he also became. Actually, he had a video went viral on TikTok with like 20 million views. But then, actually, he didn't post that. Other people post that, but then his account was taken down by TikTok. So then
think about it. TikTok was almost taken out by President Trump. And then now they dare to do this kind of thing to our fellow American.
Right. By the way, we were sharing about like TikTok. So many people just on the TikTok. It is short videos. It attract a lot of young people and even like adults. Guys, TikTok is owned by Chinese Communist Party.
You lose all your data. And the Communist Party is very good at weaponize a lot of things. They can weaponize the money, weaponize the apps. They just will use whatever way to,
they try to attract everybody on there, but then when they don't like something, they just get rid of it and censor it, right? Deplatform you, but you just had so much addiction into it.
Yeah. Okay. To summarize, the second point is really about engage the local battle. Win the election at the local level with library, school district, and the city council, city and the county, and so on. And I think I'm really just relaying this message to you and see how you think, right? At local level, things are much more controllable, but anyway, it's still public service. You spend a lot of your time, a little bit of your money. But actually, you can say a lot of money because when you move your time over here, then it's opportunity cost. But what As American, what should we do? That's the question we'll all ask ourselves. All right, let's move on to the next one. Actually, the next one I want to relate to you. I cannot do too much, okay? But I cannot meet Louise and Sarah. Yeah, because I was in Glenn Beck's finishing talk. That was almost like 1 hour. I think 70-minute talk. Think about Glenn Beck, just 1 hour, entire hour talk over there. And it's a very moving talk. At a certain point, he cannot even talk himself. He got tears in his eyes. He was like, he was stuck in his throat. Throat, and tried to swallow the tear. It's just very moving, okay? So I just want to relate to you 2 episodes at the end of the Glenn Beck's talk. One is about a lady, a Japanese lady, a Japanese-American lady, when she was in San Francisco, okay? She was very artistic, very well respected. However, FDR at that time just ordered, Japanese Americans shall be sent, to the intern camp. And then at the midnight through the winter time, and she and her daughter and many Japanese kids was put on a train and moving to Wyoming. It was really, really freezing cold, along the way. And then actually she went to the commodore. I don't know why she said commodore or the Glenn Beck. Basically, the officials, I think, of the train, and saying that I don't want kids to be bored. Can I borrow something, some cavalry or something? Can I teach them drawing? And then, she got those, and ended up, what did she draw? She drew those Japanese kids draw, joining hands with white kids, in that kind of drawing. All right. So even though she was locked up for several years, she never complained about America. All right. So the moral is this: the government could make a mistake, the government could mistreat you, but the American ideal, the American principles are always there. We love America because of that, not because of the government. This is the first example. The second one is a colonel that worked by President Abraham Lincoln. He managed to save President Lincoln from the first assassination. Anyway, at that time there's no secret guard. Okay, it's the army official who just guard the president, Secret Service, and it was army officials like this colonel that protect President Lincoln. But later, sometime he was wrong. Somebody framed him. All right, he was locked up and thrown into jail. There's no charge and there's no release. So after 6 months, President Lincoln found it out, and he said, "What's going on with this thing? You either charge him or release him. You cannot hold him just like that indefinitely." So anyway, they still held him. So after another 6 months, President Lincoln just spoke again. He said, force them to release him. Anyway, finally he got released, but his name is already smeared. Right? This was quite a respectable army colonel, but his name was bad. He could not find any job. He, in order to make a living, has to leave the country. He went to Egypt. Over there, he helped French build their, the French Foreign Legion. Okay, over there, he worked there for about 10 years. He thought, all the bad name has been washed away. People already forgot about that. Things faded away. He can come back to America to restart his life. Wrong. After he come back, he still carried those burdens. He couldn't find a job. So one night he was at midnight. Glenn Beck said, knock, bang, bang, bang. So 2 soldiers show up at the door, and just ask him, "You just came back, and we heard that you stay with the French Foreign Legion." He said, "Yeah." "So you speak French?" "Yeah." "So you recognize French writing?" "Yeah." "We got some good at the port. We would like invite you to interpret them for us." He agreed, and those good are the component of the Statue of the Liberty.
Wow.
Yeah, from France. So without any hesitation, he assists the government to put it together, and then now the Statue of the Liberty is standing at the Ellis Island, right? And so that's the story. The moral of that is, according to Glenn Beck, is again, this colonel never, the country, basically, the government betrayed him. He chose not to betray his country. He said, we shall, as we fight for our chance, fight for our right, we also should fight for the right for the left. If they lose their right, we will lose our right. So it's the right of America. It's it is the ideals of the America. Is the is the principle of America that we treasure and we defend, and it's not the government, how government behave. And at the end of it, he said, well, constitutional side, that's the framework of the nation, and then the nation also have a mission statement, which is the Declaration of Independence. So that's the essence of the nation. That's our mission statement. And he said, let's just, let's safeguard, let's just protect our mission statement and carry it out. So yeah, that's basically Glenn Beck's, true story. This is only like what,
nice
I think 80 minutes, right? He's talking about for 70 minutes. There's a lot of other things I want to relate to you.
Yeah, and if you are interested, you can go back to our Safe Chat channel.
Chat. Go there, go to the Safe Chat, search for Sound of Hope. Or search Wei and Kathy. You're gonna find all the recording of today's, CPAC session, four of them, each 2 hours. You can go back and just watch them all. and very, very good talk. Some
you
talk,
made me want to listen, go back and listen to
guys,
Glenn talk.
Just go back. Glenn Beck's speech is so good. It's so good. It's literally so good. And yesterday, when the Matt Skinlap, right, the chairman of the American Conservative Union.
Matt Schlapp.
Matt Schlapp. They were meeting with Glenn Beck at his home, not his home, his hotel or something like that. And he was asking that, have you prepared for tomorrow's talk? He said, I generally don't prepare anything. He said, he has no script, okay. But he also bring up a lot of fantastic things. He bring what the slave wear during the 19th century.
Oh.
He also bring the FDR's chair. Remember, FDR was disabled. The wheelchair of the FDR. He bought it and he brought it to the stage. It's quite a talk. Just watch him. I mean, Glenn Beck is a great guy, and so I enjoy learning from him, and I hope you do too. All right, I think that's all for today. How about that?
Yeah.
Thank you for watching us, and we're very honored to relate to you what we learned at the CPAC. Really a group of very fantastic patriots, and now they are rolling. What I saw is they're rolling up their sleeves, and now they want to jump into the. In Chinese word, we call jump into the sea, which means jump into the sea, you swim. 下海, okay, that's how we call it. Anyway, we'll see how things unfold from here.
I remember. I just remind me of the other two guests I interviewed. One is a former Congress member, Steve Stockman. Okay, and he was unfairly treated. He was pardoned by President Trump, and his former assistant, a lady called Jennifer Massey.
Mm-hmm.
She used to be a model and actor in Los Angeles, but she actually gave up her acting career to instead going to politics. So I asked her, how come you make this decision? And she was like, at the end, my country is more important than my career.
Yeah. So watch the interview that we have with Xi Van Fleet, and very spontaneous and from her heart type of speech. Okay, I really just touch upon the essence of what we face today, and just stay tuned.
Yeah, so tomorrow there will be, President Trump will come to speak, and she will be part of a panel at 11:30.
Yeah.
So full of events to watch out tomorrow at on Safe Chat.
Yes, on Safe Chat, just remember go to safechat.com, search for Sound of Hope or Wade and Kathy, and you will get connected.
All right. So that's for today.
Skip the joke because I got other things to prepare for, and until tomorrow.
All right.
Take care.
Take care.
Good night.
Bye-bye.